This is interesting. Kurtis Rourke, the rookie quarterback from Indiana, missed all season with the torn ACL. He's finally healthy. They opened his practice window, and now they get the rest of the season. I doubt he's going to play or get activated, but they get the rest of the season to see him in practice and determine whether he's good enough to, I assume, be the number 2 quarterback next year. And if they like what they see in practice, they could feel more confident about trading Mac Jones in the offseason. What are your thoughts and feelings about Curtis Work? Do you think he's good enough to be the number 2 guy next year and allow the Niners to trade Mac Jones for a second and third round pick, or is he more of a third string guy?
I'm not really sure. I'll say this: there's great toughness there. I mean, he played a whole season on a torn ACL. I mean, I'm not like a little bit. He played the whole year and led Indiana to the college football playoff with playing on a torn ACL. So he's tough. A lot of these Canadian guys are tough, and he's a Canadian guy. They call his nickname's the Maple Missile, and he's a football family guy. His brother Nathan plays for the BC Lions in Canada. So I've talked to him. I think he's smart. He's competitive. He played well in 2 different programs. Played well in the MAC for Ohio, and then transferred to Indiana and was really good in the Big Ten. So I think there's talent. He's not mobile, and I don't think he's as accurate as Jones. I think he's, to be honest, I think he's just a little bit above average. I think it's very, very likely that next year's quarterback room is Purdy, him, and probably some third, either a reclamation project third guy or a draft pick. But I think they'll
Phil
trade
Rivers.
Jones. Yeah, Phil Rivers. Phil Rivers will play so well that he'll impress Shanahan and he'll be the backup next year.
Joe Flacco. Doesn't this feel like a little bit like a audition for Curtis Rourke? I mean, we know that Kyle really does judge quarterbacks based on what they do in practice. Trey Lance was so bad in practice that Kyle never really opened up to giving him an extended look, really, in the regular season. If he plays well, I mean, do you think this is an audition for Curtis, or do you think Kyle already has a feel for where he's going to slot in the future of this team?
I think they like him a lot. I really do. I think they like him a lot. And I think they knew they were getting a redshirt candidate, and I think this is just all according to plan. They knew they were going to open up his practice window late in the year. Kyle made reference to it way back in training camp. He made reference to it early in the season. Now he's doing it, and I think that's the plan. I think it's a 2-year plan. I think it's this year, get him ready. Next year, you go into camp with, my guess, Purdy. They'll probably re-sign Adrian Martinez. They like him. They'll have Rourke, and I think either they bring in a reclamation project that they think could start, or be the number 2 in front of those guys and let, Martinez and Rourke compete for number 3. Or if they think that Rourke or Martinez has shown enough, maybe they'll go into the draft for that last guy, have it be a developmental guy, and have Rourke be number 2. But I definitely think Rourke, Martinez, and Purdy are in that quarterback room next year.
What intrigues me about Rourke is like it's the Niners had this success with Brock Purdy. Something led them to Brock Purdy in round 7. So reverse engineer it, go back and look at the scouting report. What were the traits you identified in Brock Purdy that compelled you to spend a draft pick on him in round 7? Then do it again. Try to find another, not Brock Purdy, but another quarterback who can work in your system in round 7. And I feel like that's what they tried to do. Doesn't mean that he'll be successful, but it's another swing using the same template blueprint that led him to, absolute gold. So I mean, we've seen so many quarterbacks do well in this system. If Curtis Rourke is a low-level starting caliber quarterback with some timing and anticipation, he'll be really good on this team. I want to see it.
He had good numbers. I mean, he had really good numbers, Grant. If you look at his numbers, I mean, he completed almost 70% in 2020, 2022, and 2024. His career was 67%. And then you look at his touchdown passes, 79 touchdowns, 21 picks, 29-5 in his final year. That's pretty good. And then yards per attempt. I mean, he's driving the ball down the field. 8.8, 9.2, 9.5 his final year. So those are Purdy-esque kind of numbers. I think they feel like he's a pocket passer who can process, who sees the field well and has potential. And we'll find out next summer. I think we'll find out in the preseason what he really looks like.
Also, he has a ton of experience. He was at Ohio for 5 years, Indiana for 1, threw almost 1,300 passes in college. Not a project by any means, has played the position, has a feel for it. All he needs to learn in the pros is Kyle's system, and those types of quarterbacks have had some success. I could see him being better than Nick Mullins. We'll see. I mean, we haven't seen him play in a while, but he was very
Bigger talent,
successful at Indiana.
bigger
I
talent
mean,
than Nick
and people like
Mullins.
yeah, and people are looking at Francisco Mendoza like he's someone, right? This guy
No
played
doubt.
well at
He's
the
going to go
same
number
school.
one. He's going to go
He's gonna
number
go
one.
number 1. This guy went 7th round and went to the same school. I don't know if he's as good as Mendoza, but he's definitely less dorky, although there's a little bit of a dork every
Yeah, yeah.
quarterback needs a little bit of a dork factor. I think Mendoza takes it too far. What was that?
I know. He seemed almost like, this guy almost seems a little too corny to lead a room full of badass guys.
That's what I thought. I was like, "Man, you need to stop doing that." Like, that'll work at college, but I don't think it's gonna work in the NFL. Like, Mr. Voice cracking, like, "Oh my god, I'm so exci" He looked like Howard Dean.
Right.
Remember
I
Howard
mean,
Dean?
that guy's going to walk into the room and a bunch of, seventh year defensive linemen are going to be like, that's our leader. Yeah, right.
I don't
Right.
think
See,
so. I
that's the thing.
mean,
That's to
Russell
me is what
Wilson was
Mac
considered
Jones.
corny.
I think
Like,
Mac Jones is a
Richard
lot
Sherman
more
had a
valuable.
problem with Russell Wilson for being corny, man. This guy
Oh,
Mendoza is 10 times cornier than Russell Wilson ever was.
this guy's Mr. Rogers
No.
compared to Russell Wilson. Um, I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, he's like a cartoon character. I feel like he's like, a quarterback. I'm expecting to get slimed. I felt like I was watching a quarterback brought to you by Nickelodeon or something. It was like that guy's gonna walk into a room of badass dudes, and they're all gonna be like, he's our leader. See, the thing about Brock is he's got the smiley face. But don't let the smiley face fool you. He is a competitive dude and a tough competitor. And Mac Jones, don't let the humor and the cackle confuse you. Mac Jones
True.
is icy, icy. And those two guys, that's why I wouldn't give away Mac Jones because Mac
Yep.
Jones is showed me a lot this year. Mac Jones is not a fluke. He's not an accident. He's an icy, accurate quarterback.
I agree with you, and I feel like the way that college is, evolving, where it's essentially pro sports and there's the transfer portal and you can stay for 800 years, eh, these quarterbacks come into the league pretty developed and very well scouted. And I think the days of finding the diamond in the rough are becoming fewer and far between. So God love the Niners for getting Brock Purdy in round 7. I don't think that they're going to do it again. And Josh Dubois put out a tweet a few days ago just showing that 120 of the 160 wins this year have been from first round pick. Like most of the winning quarterbacks are first round picks. There's very few exceptions anymore. So you
Yeah.
got one in Mac Jones. He's a former first round pick. He's playing well. He's in your system. Keep him one more year, and instead of trying to get greedy and replace him with the next diamond in the rough, who probably won't be a diamond in the rough.
There's one fact about the Niners that's vitally important that we don't know the answer to. And that is how much rope does the regime have with the owner?
Yep,
How much pressure is there on Lynch and Shanahan to, I don't know, produce something or Super Bowl results, whatever, playoff berths? I don't know. But Mac Jones took this season from a loss season to a non loss season. And if I was Kyle Shanahan, I would need more than a second round pick to give up
agree.
a $7 million quarterback that saved my bacon this year, especially if I don't have if Mac Jones wasn't here, or let's just say they had Adrian Martinez and they instead of going 5-3, they went 3-5 and they missed the playoffs, would Kyle be fired? I don't know, but I think he back to back missing playoffs. I bet you anything he would go into next season in a way,
That's what I
way
wanted to
more
say.
tense situation than he is right now. So maybe keeping Mac Jones is the better play, really. He's job security.
Yeah, people don't talk about that, and I don't think that anything's going to happen this year that would cost them their jobs because one, they have a good record, and two, Bosa and Warner are out. But next year feels like a big year, a kind of a no excuse year. And if they were to miss the playoffs or have a losing season, yeah, they could get fired. And if Brock Purdy gets hurt and they don't have Mac Jones, that could happen. That's a great point, Larry. When you put it that way, I could see Kyle Shanahan saying, look, Jed and Parag, I know you'd like to trade this guy, but he's not costing us much money. And from a football perspective, standpoint, I don't like it. We need this guy one more year.
And at
It could
that
always be a
price
conflict
point,
for him if he walks in 2027.
yeah. I mean, here's the thing too. I've heard people that think they're smart say, "Oh, come on, man. They're not going to get more than a third round pick for him." I'm like, dude, if you keep him next year and let him walk away the following year in free agency, you're going to get a
Get a
comp
third
third
round
round
pick for
pick.
him.
So why
Yeah.
would you trade him for a third and not have him when you could keep him and get a third round pick in the next draft? You need that third round pick accelerated into this draft that badly? I don't think so. So I to me, if he's going to be dealt, he's going to be dealt for a second round pick and most likely a player or a second round pick and another pick. It's going to be a higher return than you think because something has to motivate the Niners to give up on a $7 million starting quarterback. And by the way, $7 million for a starting quarterback is such a screaming deal that I think his contract makes him more valuable.
And you got to keep in mind, like, Lynch's contract expires after next season. The Niners can get out of Brock Purdy's contract after next season. Like, if things go bad, York and Parag could pull the plug on this whole operation after next season. So there is a lot of pressure on 2026, much more than there is in 2025. No more taking lumps. If you're lucky enough to still have Robert Saleh, I'm not sure that you will, but that'll put even more pressure on it because the final year of him. 2026 is going to be good for content creators. I don't know about for Kyle, but for us, it's going to be good.
Well, I mean,
Looking
the
forward to
one
it.
thing that I can't get beyond, I hear it echoing in my eardrums, is Kyle saying at one point something that it sounds like came from Jed, where he's like, Brock Purdy's the last quarterback we're ever going to have here.
He did say that.
And he said that in a way like it's his call, but I don't think it's his call. And I think that might have been said to him, and he's just repeating that.
Like, all right, we'll pay the $250 million. We'll put it in escrow, but this is it. No
Right.
more like, oh, we invested in Trey Lance, but actually our quarterback's the guy in the back of the room. No more of that. And so maybe that's why they can't pivot to Mac Jones, even if they wanted to.
They were very not open to it. I mean, let's be honest. They were like, it ain't happening. But also, when Lynch was asked by TK in that TK podcast interview that he did with him, are you going to trade Mac Jones? He's like, Bill Walsh did a nice job of accumulating quarterback talent. But then he's like, drops a big butt in there. And that just tells you right there that they're going to trade him. They're going to trade him.
Yeah.
They're going to assess it. They're going to get what their price, or they're not going to give him away. But I do think they're going to trade him.
Let me reverse psychology this one. Kyle, John, definitely trade Mac Jones. That's what I think you should do. In fact, I'm going to get really upset if you don't trade Mac. You better trade Mac Jones.